What's up guys, ClimaxCombo here, back with another new video. Today we're going to go over our top 10 favorite cards in the new Heaven Burns Red set. This set we think is a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool playstyles you can go to. They're really trying to push some not so strong mechanics from the past and trying to make them a little better. Like there's cool like wind trigger synergies. There's even sack back in the set. They are trying to bring accelerate into the spotlight. So we think that's a lot of fun. Is this the strongest set? We don't know, but we think it's really cool. And today we just want to go over our top 10 favorite cards. There is a lot of builds, like we said. We can't possibly go over all of them, but if you guys do want to see maybe a separate video going over a couple builds that we think are cool, let us know in the comments below. But to start things off with number 10, we have the 00 Seda 1500 power. Just a heads up, all the characters in this set is Seraph, so there's no typing shenanigans going on here. They all work together. First of all, 2 effects. Once placed from hand to stage, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a Seraph character, it gets plus 2k power. Second effect, once set from stage to waiting room, you can't discard a card. If you do, look at top 4 cards of your deck, choose one level 1 or higher card amongst them, show it to your opponent, add it to your hands, then the rest to waiting room. Literally, this card is the 00 Shizuku from Love Live Nichigasaki. Really strong card, big body at level 0. You check top, which is always good, and you can grab a level 1 or higher card, including events, which this set actually does kind of work with. So overall, strong card.
Very good. Very good beater. And utility.
Number 9, 00 Kanata, red. This card is 2500 power. This card combos with standby. When you play the standby, if you have another Seraph character, you can return this card to your hand. If you do, look at top 4 cards of your deck, choose one Seraph character amongst them, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, send the rest to waiting room. Pretty simple climax combo, but I think the fact that you always +1 in hand size and you get to mill through your deck every time you play this standby is what makes it good.
Yeah, it's a great standby combo for any standby build. Very, very good. It's a little bit of a shame that the rest of the set, the standby build doesn't seem that exciting, but overall I think the card is really strong.
Yeah, definitely this set is more focused on gates, but we'll get on that more later. But it's a cool card.
Number 8, we have this level 3 Adelhide, yellow, rare, 7k base. If you have 2 or more copies of her in your waiting room, then she gets -1 level in your hand. If all your characters are Seraph, this gets 4k, which makes her 11k base essentially. And lastly, when she's played from hand to stage, you can pay 2 and choose 2 copies of her from your waiting room and put them on stage in separate slots. And you can only do this if you have those cards available in the waiting room. But it's a very neat card. With just 1 card in your hand, you can fill up your whole board with early play level 3s that are all 11k base for 4 cost. Sounds pretty nice.
Good payoff for all the stock you're getting with choice.
Yeah, for choice, yeah, it's really nice. And yeah, I think it's a pretty neat card. Neat level 2 game plan. You can definitely try to keep it in mind when you're building a yellow deck for sure.
Doesn't scale very well, but it is very dominating at level 2 if you can get it off. And has really good synergy with other cards that we'll get to later. Next up, number 7. This card is really interesting. 2/1 double R blue, 5k Erika. It's got a bunch of effects. First effect, during your turn, it gets plus 5k power. Second effect, combos with the pants. When this attacks, if you have the pants, you can discard a character. If you do, look at top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 3 characters or this specific 1/0 event from amongst them, show them to your opponent, add it to your hands, and the rest of waiting room. Then it gets the following effects until the end. The following 2 effects until the end of your opponent's next turn, and the 2 effects are during your opponent's turn, all players' characters cannot be reversed, and the second effect at the start of your opponent's encore phase, send this card to memory. Just real quick, this card can come out early with a certain 00 Erika is a super easy condition to do, and the 1/0 event that this card synergizes is actually really good. So with that all out of the way, because those 2 cards are pretty good, makes the playability is 2/1 Erika a whole lot better. It can come out at level 1. It will be plussing you in hand size like a standard 1-0 climax combo most of the time, unless you're really unlucky. And the spicy part is, of course, these last two effects. I mean, during your opponent's turn, no characters can die. It's so weird. So the board state will kind of stay the same. Your opponent's going to be front attacking. Yeah. It's also cool to keep in mind that it denies your opponent's on reverse effects. Of course, for level 1s that need to pop off by reversing your opponent's characters. But also keep in mind it can deny your opponent's level 3 climax combos, which might sound silly, but if you use this at level 2 and you push your opponent to 3 damage, or level 3, and they're trying to kill you that turn, but they need to reverse your characters, they can't. So they're kind of screwed. It also stops the dodges. So if you're like playing an early drop level 3 and you're level 2 and you use this combo, it won't work. So that no characters dying effect is actually really cool.
Yeah,
and
it definitely seems like a useful tool to have access to.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, even just stopping a dodges, protecting your level 3s like that alone is some value, right?
Mm-hmm.
It does kill herself at the start of your opponent, at the end of your opponent's encore phase, which I think is perfectly fine because the board state's going to change. If your other 2 characters aren't dying, you probably want to play other characters on the field. So you're going to be playing more cards anyway, so her killing herself, honestly, is not a big deal. Is this card that strong? We don't think so, but it's cool, potentially good, but it kind of requires a lot of work for this card to go off. And blue doesn't seem that strong in the set, so we'll see, but nonetheless, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. If I was getting this set, I'd definitely want to try that one for sure first.
Oh, first? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Dang.
I do think it has some potential. And you know, you just have to splash a bit of blue. It won't take up your whole.
That's true. Some of the zeros in this, some of the zeros are good for blue for sure. And that event is actually really good too.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe it actually is good.
I think it's probably good. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it just depends on how that reversing effect, not reversing characters, needs to get a lot of value. Otherwise, you can kind of just play something else.
Low key, in some matchups, it can be pretty nasty.
Like you can play this next card, our number 6, level 1, ClimaxCombo, yellow, double R, 4500 power, Evar. During your turn, if you have 2 or more Seraph characters, this gets 2k power and has a ClimaxCombo with choice. When this attacks, you can discard a card to perform the following effect twice, which is look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Seraph character from among them, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, send the rest to waiting room. You can do that twice. So you are milling 6 cards with 1 level 1 card. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting, pretty good level 1 combo to have. You can ditch anything, so it lets you filter a bit. You get a ton of milling. 6 is a lot. You get 2 instances of 3 cards to look at and choose from, so it's not as bad as some of the other level 1s where you're kind of limited in what you choose to add to your hand. And 6/5 on attack, so it's a very solid level 1 combo.
It also dumps all your 3/2 Adelhides into the waiting room.
Oh yeah, that's right.
To get it pop off more, so pretty sick.
Yeah.
Little extra synergy for your deck.
It's a very, very good card.
Speaking of other good yellow cards in the set, for number 5, we're picking the 3/2 Yuena 9k double R. 3 effects. If you have a copy of this card in your clock, this card loses 1 level in your hand. Second effect, if you have 2 or more yellow characters, it gets plus 1500 power and hand encore. And last effect, during the turn this was played from hand to stage. When this card's battle opponent is reversed, if you have 2 or more other yellow characters, you can discard a card. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent and heal 1. This card, pretty sick. Easy conditions to come out early. Has hand encore, slightly big body, and it heals and deals damage. 2 of the greatest things in Weiß Schwarz.
Yeah.
Yep, and it scales well into the late game. It's good anytime in the game. Yeah, it's good at all times in the game. Pretty sick card. Yeah, kind of sucks. It's forced in yellow, but still good.
Yeah, it's a very good option. Number 4, we have are only green in our top 10. Unfortunately, it's the Isuzu Double R level 0 green. It has an on-play effect of you can pay 1, put the top card of your deck to your clock, and resolve one of the following 2 abilities, which is either look it up to the top 5 cards of your deck, choose a level 1 or lower character, add it to your hand, or you can search for a level 1 or lower character from your deck. This card is really cool because of the fact that you kind of have 2 options. It's essentially pay 1 plus, which is what these effects are for. You take a damage, but early on it's not that big a deal. And it is like the Mikey from Tokyo Revengers, the one that mills. The milling, it can be really nice. Sometimes you do just want extra milling. It's never a bad thing to have access to that. And it's also a Riki if you just want to search one card directly from your deck. So there's a lot of versatility with this card, and it could be really useful.
Super sick card. Next up, for our number 3, we have this 3/2 Tama Double R. This card is pretty cool. 95 power. 3 effects, once played from hand to stage, or... Next up, for our number 3, we have the 3/2 Tama Double R. 9500 power. 3 effects, if you have 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room, loses 1 level in hand. Once placed from hand to stage, it gets plus 1500 power for the turn. And lastly, once placed from hand to stage, if you have another Seraph character, you can discard a card. If you do, heal 1 and then salvage a character. So, pretty neat. You do heal and salvage a character for discarding any card. I think is what makes this card neat. 11k body on play, nothing new, comes out early. Solid early drop level 3 that works in all the builds unlike the Yuena. So, pretty sick, I think.
Another very good early play option. And before we go on to our number 2 and number 1, we will go ahead and talk about our honorable mentions here. Just a few cards that we wanted to give a shout out to. Not necessarily in the top 10, but still pretty neat. First one is this level 0 Risa. It's just a common green level 0. I already said that. But it climax combos with the bag climax.
Ooh.
They're bringing it back. If that bag is in your climax area, this card gets 3 bag triggers in any area. And on top of that, when you play her, you can shuffle 2 characters from your waiting room back into your deck, and then this card can side attack without suffering soul penalty. So honestly, bag is a terrible climax, terrible trigger to want. But this is kind of neat. You get 3 of those. You get 3 blind stock whenever you trigger her while you have that climax. You can guarantee 1 with her on-play effect. If you're close to refresh and you have like 1 card left in your deck, you can do that. There's a lot of other decks do that with these kind of trigger controlling cards. It's pretty neat, and it's nice to see Bushiroad give some love to some of their older, less meta mechanics.
Agreed. I'm glad Bushiroad's acknowledging that, hey, maybe we should try to do something with Sack.
Yeah.
So here's something kind of crazy with a pretty crazy payoff in a common. So it's just fun.
Yeah. And there is a level 3 sack combo as well. So if you want to run 8 sack, you can with this build, with this deck.
Geez, that's too strong. Too strong. But just a fun card. I hope Bushiroad tries a little harder with sack in the future. But this is a right step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we got the one and only trial deck card in here. This is the 1/0 Ruka, 4500 power, 2 effects. When it attacks, you choose one of your other Seraph characters and it gets plus 100 power for each of your other characters. So 2k power boost. Oh, it's okay. Second effect, combos with the gate in the set. When it attacks, you build 2. Then you choose 1 level X or lower Seraph character in your waiting room, add it to your hand, and X is the level, or X equals the sum of the levels of the cards milled by this effect. Pretty standard climax combo. Nothing really spicy here, but it's kind of the only other good gate combo in the set. And if you want to run 8 gates, you kind of have to run this card. So I think just for that reason alone, it's kind of worth mentioning. Oh, I forgot I'm doing that. And lastly, for the last honorable mention, we kind of want to just mention this 3-2 Ichiko, double R, 10k power. It's got a whole bunch of effects. The first effect is once played behind the stage, heal. Second effect, when it attacks, you can pay 2, discard a card. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. Choose up to 2 cards from amongst them. And you can either put it to the waiting room or put it back on top. And then it gets the following 2 effects until the end of your opponent's next turn, where it's hexproof and the character across of it loses 2 soul. This card, as a standalone card, we think is not that strong. The cost is pretty heavy to do an effect that we see on many cards nowadays. We feel like Bushiroad's just trying to make this effect a little stronger. They just kind of add a little more spice to each one. And this one, it's heavy. You do get the hexproof and you get the -2 soul in front, which is neat, but it being hexproof is just more to stop like opponents' backups that target them, which is always nice. But I mean, it losing 2 soul, it's just not that strong at level 3. I mean, they're going to be climax comboing, they're going to be hitting you for 1 to 2 damage, and it doesn't stop all their game-ending effects. We just kind of want to mention this because there is like a whole build based off this. This is like the resonate target for all of these other cool cards in the set. Definitely going to be its own build, but I think how this card works with the rest of its own green build can be pretty strong. So
yeah,
that's kind of why we just want to mention it here.
Yeah, there's a lot of other resonate target or resonate cards that resonate with this card.
And this card's not terrible, so.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now moving on to our top 2. The first one, or number 2, being the level 3 Ruka double R. She is 10k base. When she's played from hand to stage, you heal 1, and she climax combos with the gate or door. When she attacks and you have 5 or less clock, you can pay cost, which is pay 2, discard 2 cards from your hand, and accelerate, put the top card of your deck into your clock. Then she gets plus 2k power for the turn, and you perform the following 2 effects once each in any order, which is deal 1 damage to your opponent and deal 2 damage to your opponent. Honestly, it is kind of scary to think about taking 1, 2, and then her attack, which is probably 3. It is very heavy of a cost. It's hard to pull off multiple of these. And accelerating at level 3 is like a death sentence. I mean, this card is almost, because it has the word accelerate on it, unplayable on its own.
And you gotta pay 2, and you gotta ditch, and you gotta be at less than 5
It's very
clock,
heavy.
and you only get 2k. They couldn't bother to give it 4k power. Like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
It really, for our number 2, doesn't seem like it. But
I'd rather have this card die so you could take more damage because you're gonna be at such a high clock. You know, like, oh my god.
it sounds egregious when you first read this.
It's not even hexproof.
Definitely. Yeah.
So if they have a damage backup, like if you're playing Mushoku Tensei or Toma, you're dead.
Oh yeah.
But
there is a level 1 rare red that is our number 1. This 1/1 Yuki, 2k power. She has a level multiplier in front, assist. Her second effect is this can only activate once per turn, but when you use an accelerate ability, you can pay costs, which is just discard 1 card, and if you do, you can heal 1. And lastly, she climax combos with the same door that the level 3 combos with. When you place that door in your climax area, and you have 2 or more other Seraph characters, you can look at the top 2 cards from your deck, choose a level 1 or lower character from among them, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, send the rest to waiting room. So, this card, first of all, makes the Ruka, you don't take 1, you ditch instead, so her cost becomes pay 2, ditch 3 essentially, for one of them, the first one. she also climax combos with the same door, which is a plus. So it essentially makes the cost for Ruka 1 less ditch. So it's only pay 2 ditch 2 for ping 1, ping 2. That is a lot better. Still really heavy, but it does make that level 3 a little more playable, and you can actually, I don't think you can feel bad about playing that build with using this level 1 assist. But what's really the neatest part about this card is the fact that it's not only the Ruka, but a lot of the other cards that have accelerate can now scale later into the game. The accelerate is really like not a good mechanic at all, because taking 1 damage even past level 1 is like,
it hurts.
Yeah, you can't do
much.
that. It starts to really matter each 1 damage you take. So the fact that this helps accelerate cards scale into the later game is really neat. And they did make sure to give this set other accelerate options. There's a lot of level 1 sub attackers that have good accelerate effects. It's just a really neat card, and it really helps make accelerate usable. Yeah.
Even if you don't want to like accelerate, the fact that you always get a +1 in hand size when you play the door, I think it's just so sick.
Yep.
And it's just so cool that 1 card can potentially bring an entire archetype more playable. Like if this card wasn't here, all these accelerate cards would be garbage. Yeah. But now you can actually cook a little spicy deck with this, you know? It's cool. Such a cool card.
Really dope.
Yeah. The level 3 is still too much, though. You cannot possibly get...
it can work. I know it.
You possibly cannot get multiple of these off, like 2 max, and then you're burnt out. You're gassed out. It's over. But still super sick. I low-key want to make this build.
It's cool.
It's very cool.
No, you can do 2. You can do 2. I know it.
You think so?
I think you need 6 stock, and you only need 5 hand, and you're just gonna take 1.
That's true. You are running 8 gates too.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then another attack. That's crazy.
I can just play level 3 Itsuki and discard 3 cards in my hand.
But does this have Itsuki? Hell
no, I can just play level 3 Itsuki and not have to go through all
that's why Itsuki's broken right now. But yeah, guys, that is our top 10 for the new Heaven Burns Red set. Really cool. Really neat that they're trying to bring a lot of old mechanics back into the light and give it some love and playability. Neither of us are going to make this at the time right now, so if you guys do want to see more content about it and want to hear us talk about other builds and stuff like that, let us know in the comments. Once again, we'd appreciate any words from any of you. Always looking to improve, and hope you enjoyed our video.
I enjoy making this stuff, so
yeah,
it's cool. It gets me hyped for the set, just kind of sitting down talking about it. Really fun set. So hopefully Heaven Burns Red has a little spotlight for what it is. I don't really see it beating the current top decks. Yeah, but it's fine. All right, but hey, we could be wrong. Could be like Project Sekai, right? Took some time. Oh yeah, but it's strong. So hopefully some people can cook something up with the set.
For sure.
But that's it for this one, guys. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.